My experience playing Dying Light 2 hasn't been an entirely smooth one. I've dealt with random frame rate drops on PC, and I have a fairly strong gaming rig. These are my specs right here on screen, and the dips are just random. I can't anticipate when it's going to happen or when it'll transition back to a smooth experience. I've had GRE quarantine zone progress not be tracked. I've had Night Runner safe zones and windmills not activate. A couple co-op games crash on me. I've had a side quest completely bug out, which then affected the rest of my game. That clip you seen at the beginning of the video was me activating a windmill, and then when that cutscene ended, I fell through the floor and was basically trapped inside that building. And that was a solo game. It had nothing to do with any co-op issues. So I've been dealing with quite a few bugs and not an entirely buttery smooth experience like I'd prefer, but I haven't had the experience to the same extent as other people. They've mentioned corrupted save files, they mentioned they can't connect co-op, or being stuck on a loading screen, or this or that happening that is quite game breaking. I haven't had any of that. I've had pain in the ass bugs, yeah, and a side quest that I couldn't really complete for a while. And of course I also found this. I didn't really know where to throw it in, so I'm going to put it here. I don't know if you would really consider it an exploit, but if you have the ultimate edition of this game, you get a 2-hour bonus at night. You have to go to your stash, redeem this Night Runner potion, and everything you do at night doubles your XP. Well, I ended up finding a rooftop with a chimney and a fence opposite of each other, and I was basically just far jumping in a giant circle. I ended up getting 60,000 parkour points in one night. But that's not the kicker. The kicker is I ended up activating a chase, hopping up on that very same roof, which this is the location in case you want to do it for yourself. And because me and the guy I was playing with were just far jumping back and forth, none of the infected could hit us. Not even the volatiles. They pop up out of the hatches, which were on both rooftops, and they would just stand there. I'm assuming because we were moving so fast, the AI couldn't figure out what they wanted to do, so they would just freeze there. And I like this rooftop because not only were they popping out of the hatches on both roofs, but there's 2 safe zones within very close proximity to you, just in case you fuck it up and they start chasing you. All you gotta do is get to the safe zone and the chase real quick. Hop down, drop kick a howler, go back to that roof, keep it going. Or even, if you're feeling really brave, just pop a UV lamp. It boosts your immunity, and the volatiles definitely won't touch you. But in spite of these problems that I've been having, and the inconsistent frame rate drop on PC, which is quite annoying, I have very little tolerance when it comes to that stuff, I would still highly recommend this game. None of what I've experienced is consistent to the point of it ruining my overall experience. With the exception of that Cheers side quest on PlayStation 5. That seems to be the determining factor on what bugs everything else out. So I would suggest in the meantime, stay clear of that side quest. On PC seems to be fine. I haven't played it on Xbox, so I couldn't tell you. But on PlayStation 5, I'd recommend, stay the hell away from that quest until it's patched. But story quests, other side quests have all been perfectly fine on that platform. The core gameplay of Dying Light 2 is so much fun. Nothing has taken that away from me. I can't tell you the last time I played a game and said, okay, I'm only going to be on for 30 minutes to an hour, and next thing I know, the sun is coming up. Or I learn a new set of skills and abilities and I try to combine those two. Like, I'm a little slow, clearly, because one of the earlier skills you acquire is called air kick. I've been playing this game for about 30 hours. I barely discovered how to properly use it, and now I'm using it as not only a good way to kill lower enemies by initiating an enemy jump, which is one skill, rotate jump to face the direction I just came from, which is one skill, and then performing the air kick. So you just initiated 3 different moves on one specific person, or even using an air kick to break your fall. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen the trailers where you can use a block charge or land on top of a zombie for them to break your fall that way, but using an air kick, an aggressive move as a means to break your fall from a skyscraper, is badass. And I'm sure I'm just scratching the surface. I'm sure there's plenty of skills and other moves you can combine that are just based all around your own personal creativity, and of course whether if you have that skill unlocked or not. A big question has been, how's the story in this game? I still haven't completed it. I'm not that far into the main story. I've basically just been exploring the world, maxing out my parkour, experimenting with the moves, and just scavenging around. Off the bat, I will say, compared to the original, facial animations, voice acting, leaps and bounds above the previous game. And as you'd expect, right? There's an 8-year gap between the two. But the majority of us, I would say, came to this game with gameplay, opportunities, the parkour, the combat, how they seamlessly flow into one another. And at first, there's a little bit of a learning curve with at least how the parkour feels, especially if you're coming from the original into the sequel. And then you gotta learn inhibitors and how all that works, which if you're still a little lost on how to boost your stamina and health, go ahead and click on the eye in the top right hand corner. There's a complete guide on how to understand all that stuff and how to boost your immunity and pretty much everything you need to know to make yourself stronger. But personally, I'm thoroughly enjoying the game. I was a little skeptical on how techalnd was going to quote unquote improve the parkour and how to make it a little bit more challenging and different. Some of the people that I've been talking to that have some complaints are all about, most of them, not all of them, are along the lines of pretty much moves you took for granted in the original game are harder to earn in this game. For instance, the majority of us probably just drop kicked everything in Dying Light 1. You might have used grapple here and there. Vault was cool to just get away. And I vaulted over every infected in the first game to get away, especially in the early hours. As soon as I got it, I was jumping on top of everybody's head and pretty much drop kicking every single thing. In this game, Vault is pretty much enemy jump, drop kick is the same. They're just harder to earn. And I'm noticing that the people that I'm talking to, when they have these issues about these skills to acquire, you know, they're expecting to use them the same exact way. Whether that's a personal fault and expectations or techalnd changing up the game design, I think it's completely up to you and however you want to see it. But I think the beauty in Dying Light 2's parkour and combat system is really in combining the two and using the moves in ways you wouldn't expect. Like again, returning to that rotate jump, the video that's given to you is in the context of exploration and getting to a level beneath you, but I was using it in combat. I was also using it in chases to evade on rooftops, to completely do a 360 and run the opposite direction. Air kick, you know, it's shown as an aggressive move, but I just told you I've been using it as a way to break my fall off skyscrapers, because fuck safe landing, that shit don't work. 90% of my deaths are because I just don't make my jumps and safe landing doesn't save my ass. I'm splattered on the pavement. But there's creativity, there's flexibility, there's experimentation here within the game, and there's plenty for myself to learn. I mean, I'm only talking about a handful of skills. I'm still experimenting with other stuff. Maybe I'll come out with some cool guides on how to get rid of things quicker. Like right now I'm just experimenting with air kick and eliminating howlers instantly and not having to activate any type of chase or worry about that stuff. But in my book, despite these bugs and issues that techalnd is well aware of and they're actively trying to fix, it's still a phenomenal game. I don't think there's any other game like Dying Light, and I think they kept that gameplay philosophy well and alive in the sequel. Of course, you're gonna get people that are diehard fans of the original and the sequel won't even come close. Maybe they messed this or messed that up, but in my opinion, I think they've done wonders. And if you've been on the fence, I would suggest you go ahead and pick it up. If you're still on the fence in terms of bugs, glitches, anything like that, then by all means, yeah, hold off, listen a little bit for more updates. Techalnd is gonna have more stuff coming out within the next week or so, so hopefully within a 2-week span, it's completely solid. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. What are your guys' experience with Dying Light 2? Have you been watching content? Have you been playing it yourself? What platforms are you on? What are the most creative things that you've done? I think that'd be a cool conversation to initiate and start seeing in the comment section. But like always, guys, my name is Cynic. Thank you all so much for watching. Special shout out to my patrons, Woodcrafted Essentials, Grim Reaper, and DJ Steph. Without them, this content wouldn't be possible. So special thank you to them. And of course, you want to join the Patreon, link is down in the pinned comment as well. You get early access, some cool, unique shit behind the scenes, some good stuff. But until next time, I'll see y'all later.